You are listening to The Vocal Technologist. Spoken tech for your ears.
Okay, let's unpack this. What if the fastest way to kill your new AI startup is to actually give your users a cutting-edge generative UI?
I mean, it sounds completely backwards, I know.
Yeah.
You would think the goal right now is to look like you were living in the year 3000, right?
Right, where the interface just magically morphs to anticipate whatever you want.
Exactly. But if you build an interface that constantly changes before you have actually proven what your core customer fundamentally needs, you aren't innovating. You're just automating confusion.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are taking a massive stack of research specifically, 2 incredibly jam-packed editions of the TLDR Product Management Newsletter from mid-2026.
Jam-packed is an understatement. There is so much in there.
Oh, totally. And we are cutting through all that noise for you. Our mission today is to figure out what it actually takes to build, measure, and manage successful products right now without getting distracted by the hype.
And, if you are feeling a bit of information overload with the current pace of AI, you're not alone. It is a lot. But when you look at the mechanics of what is actually working in the market right now, a very clear thesis emerges from these sources.
Which is what? Exactly.
Well, AI is fundamentally rewiring product management, but it's shifting the premium away from the execution, like the actual how to build things. And it's placing that premium almost entirely on taste, judgment, and deciding what to build.
That is a massive paradigm shift. But how do we square that with the dominant narrative right now? Because every vendor pitch I see claims AI is just the silver bullet for execution.
Well, I know, it's everywhere.
Right. It feels like we are being promised a self-driving car, but what we're actually getting is a steering wheel that randomly falls off while we're driving.
That is a perfect way to put it. And that's what Elena Verna actually calls AI confidence theater.
AI confidence theater. I like that.
Yeah, it's a classic overcorrection. Companies are, slapping an AI label on absolutely everything. They're performing the idea of innovation without delivering the actual substance.
Just to look like they're keeping up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the danger here isn't just that it's annoying for the user. It actually creates massive anxiety internally for the teams, and it heavily erodes user trust externally.
Because if it doesn't work, you look foolish.
Right. I mean, if a user clicks an AI generate button and it hallucinates total nonsense, they don't just ignore that one feature going forward. They lose faith in your entire product. You break that trust, and it's gone.
Yeah, the brain damage is real. But let's dig into the mechanics of why execution isn't actually getting easier, because that feels really counterintuitive to me. If I have AI writing my code, shouldn't my product development, magically get smoother?
Not exactly, because constraints in a complex system like product development, they don't just disappear. They just shift.
Right, it's the whole shifting bottleneck theory.
Exactly. The bottleneck strikes again. Historically, writing the actual code was the bottleneck. Now, the sources explain that the constraints are shifting toward judgment, coordination, aligning incentives, and learning.
So it's like a factory. If you speed up a factory's assembly line by 10 times, but the design department is still sketching blueprints by hand, you have a problem.
Right. The assembly line just ends up sitting idle. Or, even worse, it's building the wrong thing much, much faster. Making bold claims right now is just misleading. Real progress requires honest expectations.
Which brings up the insight from the newsletter on Claude Code. We are seeing AI coding tools essentially turn every single engineer into 3 engineers.
Yeah, it's massively compressing the engineering output.
But practically speaking, doesn't that mean the engineering backlog just gets decimated overnight? Suddenly, the bottleneck is the product manager who has to research, spec, and validate features at 3 times the speed just to keep those engineers fed.
Exactly. If you feed a hyper-efficient machine garbage ideas, you just get garbage features faster. And this is exactly why taste is becoming the ultimate differentiator.
Because production is now abundant.
Right, production is cheap. So taste, that really intangible ability to know what is actually good, what solves a real human problem, and what is just noise that is the new currency.
And it seems like this demand for taste is completely redefining traditional roles, too. We are seeing functions converge in ways they just haven't before.
Oh, absolutely. Look at what is happening in the security space, for instance.
Right. Security professionals are no longer just the Department of No who sit at the end of the pipeline and block your deployment.
Precisely. They're shifting from being gatekeepers into actual builders. This production is so fast now. But to be successful in that new paradigm, a security professional needs a blend of engineering skill and actual product judgment.
Because they have to build things people actually want to use.
Yeah, exactly. They have to design security experiences that developers want to engage with, which requires a deep understanding of user friction. You can't just mandate compliance with a heavy-handed checklist anymore. You have to build a great internal product.
Okay, here is where it gets really interesting to me, tactically speaking. Because if taste is the differentiator, shouldn't every young startup be throwing flashy generative UI at their users to look cutting edge? Like we talked about at the very beginning.
You would think so, but no. The sources make a really strong case against this. Generative UI actually doesn't make sense for early-stage startups.
Because they haven't figured out what to build yet.
Exactly. Generative UI, where the interface itself adapts and generates on the fly, requires encoding correct interaction components based on deep, validated customer needs.
Right.
If you're an early-stage startup, you haven't established product-market fit yet. You literally do not have the evidence to know what your customers actually need well enough to build a system that dynamically generates it for them.
You are basically building a dynamic map for a territory you haven't even explored yet.
That is exactly it.
Hmm.
You need to wait until product market fit is firmly established before you try to automate the interface itself.
That makes perfect sense. So if we aren't obsessing over flashy interfaces and generative UI, what does a highly effective AI integration actually look like under the hood right now?
It looks like intelligent routing.
Yeah.
Tom Tugus lays out a really great framework for this in the newsletter. The reality is, most AI work can wait.
Wait, like it doesn't need to be real time.
Right. Instead of relying on a single, massive, expensive AI model to do everything in real time, teams should build intelligent routers. You send each task to the absolute cheapest reliable option.
Okay, so if a simple regular expression script can extract a date from an email, just use the script.
Exactly. Don't call a massive, expensive language model for that. And
Mhm.
critically, you process non-urgent work asynchronously.
Right, you don't need real-time generation for a summary report the user isn't even going to read until tomorrow morning. Just put it in a queue, process it when compute is cheap, and deliver it later.
Yes, that is the intelligent way to build.
But if we are doing all this invisible, unglamorous back-end work, how do we evaluate if an AI product is actually successful? Because right now, success often just looks like a viral launch or a massive spike in query volume.
Yeah, and that doesn't tell you if the product is actually good. Jeff Gotthelf has an excellent framework for applying OKR's objectives and key results to AI products.
Okay, how does that work?
You don't measure success by how many AI queries were run. You measure it by actual user behavior. Are users taking the AI outputs and using them as written? Or are they spending 20 minutes heavily editing them?
Oh, that's a great metric.
Right. Are they verifying the outputs less over time because they have built trust with the system? Do they actually trust the tool with their most important work?
That trust factor really is the ultimate metric. And this ties directly into Hamel Hussein's rule from the sources, which I just think is brilliant. He says, it's hard to val is a product smell.
Yes. It's such a good concept.
Like in engineering, a code smell means there's a deeper architectural flaw. Hussein is applying that to product design. If your AI product is hard to evaluate, you haven't designed it properly.
Exactly. AI products must make their outputs easy for the human to verify. If your AI spits out a massive monolithic 5-page answer and essentially just says, trust me, you have failed.
You have to show your work.
Yes, you need to show sources, provide citations, and break incredibly complex workflows into smaller, reviewable chunks where the user can actually validate the logic step by step.
Though I will say, there is an interesting caveat to this hyper-focus on metrics in the newsletter. A piece on Less Wrong points out that while clear goals and OKRs improve decisions, not every valuable activity needs a precise purpose right out of the gate.
That is a very important counterweight, and it is crucial when working with generative models. These models possess a massive latent space.
Which is essentially the hidden potential and unexpected connections the model can make that we don't even fully understand yet, right?
Exactly. Sometimes product teams just need to play. You need to explore that latent space without immediately asking, what is the exact ROI of this specific prompt?
Right. You have to balance that strict evaluation with open-ended exploration to actually find the magic.
You really do.
Well, let's ground all this theory into a very practical reality for the listener. The host of the newsletter highlighted the Nyla's Agent Account sponsor note, and it is a perfect example of this grounded utility over hype.
Oh, it really is a perfect case study. What Nihilus is doing is giving AI agents their own dedicated inboxes and calendars via a single API call.
Establishing them as entirely separate entities from human employees.
Right. Because previously, the workaround was companies just sharing a human employee's inbox with an AI agent so it could draft emails or schedule meetings.
Which, I mean, if you think about it for more than 2 seconds, is a complete security and compliance nightmare. You are giving an autonomous agent access to a human's entire email history.
It's terrifying from a compliance standpoint.
Exactly. Your SOC2 compliance, your HIPAA compliance, and healthcare, it all goes entirely out the window. You cannot audit who did what.
Yes, because the human and the AI share the same identity. Nihilus fixes that plumbing by giving the agent its own distinct identity and permissions. It's not a flashy generative UI dancing on the screen. It is fundamental infrastructural governance.
And that governance is what allows developers to actually ship secure, compliant products in the real world, which actually is the perfect bridge to talk about the human element trust, workflows, and governance at the macro level.
Absolutely. Because having perfectly intelligent routing and clean APIs means nothing if your internal company governance is completely broken.
It's like putting a Ferrari engine in a car with a rusted-out chassis. I mean, it's just going to shake itself apart.
That is exactly what happens. And we see this conflict playing out violently in private equity-backed firms right now.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, Silicon Valley Product Group, or SVPG, notes in the newsletter that great products demand strong governance. But in a PE-backed environment, there is massive structural pressure for predictable quarter-over-quarter financial returns.
Right. They want a strict roadmap, and they want you to deliver it on time no matter what.
Exactly. But AI product development just doesn't work like that. It requires that iterative exploration and play we just talked about, because model behavior is inherently unpredictable.
So the PE financial model and the AI development cycle are just fundamentally at odds with each other.
Precisely. Without strong governance to protect the product vision, those short-term financial interests will destroy the company culture, the founders, and the mission.
So what does a product manager do in that environment?
In PE-backed firms, product leadership cannot just be about delivering features. Because AI is automating the execution anyway, product managers must pivot to driving measurable business value. Commercial judgment and cross-functional alignment become their primary jobs.
And speaking of cross-functional alignment, Amy Mitchell has a really fascinating take on this in the sources. She argues that what we constantly misdiagnose as execution problems are almost always actually workflow problems.
Yes, and her solution goes against the grain of a lot of modern tech culture. She says workflows should not depend on perfect collaboration.
I mean, that is a tough pill to swallow for tech companies that treat being highly collaborative as their entire core identity.
It is, but her point is about resilience. If your product's progress grinds to a halt every single time one person is out sick or a dependency from another team is delayed, your workflow is incredibly fragile.
Right, you're constantly blocked.
Exactly. You have to separate learning, debate, and decisions into distinct phases. That way, the machine keeps moving forward even when the human elements are unreliable.
Okay, so we need resilient workflows internally. But what about the humans actually using the product externally? How do we build trust with them? The newsletter has this fascinating comparison between Anthropic and OpenAI using the classic trolley problem.
Yes, the trolley problem. The famous ethical dilemma where you have to choose who to save in a hypothetical accident.
Right. And when you ask different AI models to solve it, they kind of reveal their underlying architecture and philosophy.
They really do. And the key insight here is that visible deliberation is what builds trust with human users.
Meaning, the AI shouldn't just instantly give you a definitive answer to a complex ethical problem. It should actually show you its math.
Exactly. When making a hard decision, explaining the trade-offs and showing the user that the system considered the impact carefully is vital.
Because if an AI just blurts out a controversial decision with zero context, it feels alien. It feels untrustworthy.
Right. But if the interface says, here are the 3 factors I weighed, here is why this is conflicting, and here's my conclusion, humans relate to that. We trust the process of deliberation just as much as the outcome itself.
It's all about transparency, which, honestly, is why tools like Builder.io are gaining so much traction right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they are letting more people across a company build directly with AI, but they enforce that transparency by operating strictly within trusted brand, security, and approval guardrails.
Right. You empower the marketing team to generate a new landing page with AI, but the system literally won't let them publish it if it violates the brand guidelines or breaks the site's code.
You get the insane speed of AI, but with the safety of human oversight and guardrails.
Exactly. And tying this back to marketing is so critical right now because we are facing a really brutal reality in how these products are actually sold.
Oh, this is the Shreyas Doshi insight.
Yes. He points out a fundamental cognitive bias of product builders that is just painfully accurate.
The arrogance of the product builder. It's the easiest excuse in the book. Doshi says product teams inherently assume their product is a work of genius.
Always.
Right. So when a launch fails, who do they blame? They blame the marketing team. Our product is perfect. Marketing just didn't explain it right.
It's never the product's fault.
Never. But then when a competitor with a seemingly inferior product starts winning, they never admit the competitor built something better. They just wave it away and say, well, they just have better distribution.
It is a massive blind spot,
Yeah.
and it absolutely kills companies. Contrast that arrogance with how a highly successful AI company like Fal.ai operates.
What do they do differently?
They don't treat marketing as some separate downstream department that just inherits the product once it's done. Inside Fal.ai, marketing is a single operational system heavily integrated with the product itself.
Focused entirely on compounding user adoption.
Yes. And crucially, they don't just blindly automate their marketing by having AI blast out thousands of generic spam emails. They use AI selectively to tighten their feedback loops.
How do they actually do that in practice, though?
By analyzing telemetry data instantly. Instead of waiting for a monthly marketing review to notice a drop-off in user engagement, they use AI to instantly identify where users are getting stuck in the product.
Oh, wow.
And then they automatically deploy micro-campaigns or in-app guidance to get them over that specific hurdle. The product and the marketing become the exact same feedback loop.
Because, as the research points out, the very nature of software is fundamentally changing right now. Software is essentially becoming marketing.
Yes. Think about the economics of it. As AI drastically lowers the barrier to entry for writing code, software becomes incredibly abundant. I mean, anyone can spin up a sauce tool in a weekend now.
Right.
On it, software is abundant. The prestige and pay of merely writing it will compress. The market is going to hollow out the middle. We will see the massive decline of the mid-market sauce vendor.
So what replaces it?
The ecosystem will split.
Yeah.
You'll have highly specific niche utilities on one end and massive aggregators on the other. And those aggregators will win purely based on trust and distribution.
Because the code itself is no longer your moat.
Exactly. Your distribution channel and the trust you've built with your audience, that is your moat. Therefore, your software's primary job is to market itself through a flawless, trustworthy user experience.
Wow. Okay, so what does this all mean for you, the listener, as you navigate this massive shift? We have covered a lot of ground today, from the illusion of the AI execution machine to the friction with private equity to the reality of intelligent routing and avoiding the generative UI trap.
It is a lot to take in.
It is. But if we boil all these insights down, the core takeaway is this. We are entering a world where AI makes the physical act of writing code fast, cheap, and abundant. In that world, your greatest assets are no longer your ability to grind out a massive backlog of features.
Not at all.
Right. Your greatest assets are your taste, your commercial judgment, and your ability to build trust through total visible transparency.
And if I can leave you with one final thought, building on that idea of software becoming marketing and connecting it all the way back to those Nihilus agent accounts we talked about.
Oh, the agents with their own inboxes.
Right. If AI agents are now getting their own dedicated email inboxes, their own calendars, and are acting as independent, autonomous entities.
Yeah.
And if human engineers are stepping back to primarily exercise taste and judgment, are we rapidly approaching a future where product managers aren't actually designing software for humans at all?
Wait, really?
Think about it. Are we about to start designing UIs, APIs, and entire marketing funnels specifically for other AIs to evaluate, consume, and purchase on our behalf?
Wow. Optimizing products not for human psychology, but for algorithmic consumption. If the AIs are the ones doing the buying and the interacting, it completely changes how we draw the blueprint for our house.
It changes everything.
The bricks might be laying themselves, but the occupant isn't who we thought it was at all. We will leave you to ponder that one.
Thank you for taking the time to learn and explore with us today. Keep building, keep questioning, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.
Spoken Tech, for your ears.